back to my channel. So today's video is a video I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and basically that's luxury room decor looking items using Dollar Tree products. All of these are inspired off of things I've seen on Tumblr, and let me tell you, every single time I see these things I'm like, I really want to do that, I really want to do that, and I finally got around to doing it, and I'm excited to share it with you guys because it is using Dollar Tree products, so it's super inexpensive to do. Now there is one item that you're gonna need that you can't get at Dollar Tree, and that is a printer. You can always hand paint or hand draw the logos, but it's so much easier to do with a printer. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Let's see if we can get this video to 6,000 likes, and I'll be sure to do another one of these Dollar Tree luxury room decor type of DIY videos again. Before I let you go, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do lots of DIYs using Dollar Tree products, so if you want to make sure you're notified when I upload, please subscribe. Now with that being said, let's begin the video.
Okay, for all of these projects, you're going to want to print out some images of whatever logo it is that you're going to use. So I typed in Chanel logo into Google, then I go to images, and there's so many images to choose from. All you have to do is save the one that you like. After saving it, you can then print it. Some of the images you might have to resize. When I resized my images, I just used Microsoft Paint. There's programs you can use online to resize images if you don't really know how to do it on Microsoft Paint or you don't have it. For the most part, you can find images on Google Images that don't have to be resized. For images like the Chanel No. 5 perfume, you can just type in Chanel perfume logo or Chanel perfume No. 5 logo. If you want something that has like that marble Chanel background, you would type in like Chanel marble background. There's so many images to choose from and so many different things you can do. Let's start with the flower vase. From Dollar Tree, you'll pick up one of their vases. I like this one that has kind of a square shape to it. And then I printed out a bunch of these Chanel No. 5 perfume labels in different sizes because I didn't know which one I was going to need for the vase. So I tried out 2 different sizes, and I liked the smaller one that I printed out the best. To attach the paper to the vase, I'm just using a glue stick. I don't want to use a hot glue gun because it'll make the paper bunch up and melt a little bit, and then I didn't want to use a school glue just in case it made streaks on the back. So I just went with a glue stick. Now for the water, obviously you're going to need water, and then you're going to need food coloring. Dollar Tree does carry food coloring, but it's hard to find. I've spoken with multiple employees. They say whenever they get them in, people just buy them out. So you're probably going to have better luck just going to your local grocery store or Walmart, Target, whatever it might be. I want pink water, so I'm using red food coloring. I tried to put a very small amount inside of the water, but it did turn red. To make the water lighter, I just had to remove some of the red water and add more just plain water to dilute that color, and you just would do that with any color that you want to make a little bit lighter. Now if you're using real flowers in this vase, the dye is going to eventually dye your real flowers. I'm using fake flowers, just be aware of that. And that's it for this Chanel flower vase. Now moving on to the Chanel tray. From Dollar Tree, I picked up these 5x7 silver picture frames. These frames are a little bit deeper than their other picture frames, and that's why I went with them. You can use 2, 3, 4 picture frames. It just depends on how deep you want this to be. I'm going with just 2 of them. You'll be removing all the contents from the picture frame and then attaching the picture frames together till you get your desired depth. Now I want this painted, so I'm going to be using black paint to make the tray all black. If you decide that you want to paint your tray and you're going to be using an acrylic paint to paint it, what you want to do is stipple that color around the picture frame to create an initial first layer. That way the second and third layers will adhere better to the picture frame and give you more of an opaque look. Now I prefer to spray paint, but I want to share that with you guys just in case you do plan on using an acrylic paint. Once you get that first layer down, it'll be much easier to paint the rest and get the nice, pretty opaque look that you want, and then you won't end up with a bunch of streaks if you stipple that color on, which basically I mean like dabbing that paintbrush or sponge onto the frame. Now you want to take whatever logo it is that you printed out. I printed out this Chanel logo. Again, you're going to have to resize them to be the size that you want on whatever it is that you're making. And then you want to cut out the letters from the logo. Now you can go ahead and just kind of cut out the entire word and then glue it that way, but it looks a little bit fake just because it doesn't blend in too nicely with the paint color that's already on the picture frame. So it's better just to cut out the letters and then glue them one by one. And to glue them, again, I'm using a glue stick. It's just easier to use, and like I said, if you want to use a hot glue gun, it kind of melts the paper, so it's just better to use a glue stick or like a regular school glue. I recommend printing out 2 images of the logo and using one as a guide for when you start gluing down the letters. That way you can get the proper spacing that you need and it doesn't look all wonky or lopsided. It's just an easy way to do this. Now what you're going to do is put the contents back in the tray. I started off with putting back one of the glasses that came with the frames into the tray, and I had an image printed out that I wanted to be on the bottom of the tray, and basically it was just this Chanel logo that's on top of a marble background. But I go ahead, I put that first piece of glass in, then I put the Chanel picture. On top of the Chanel image, I placed one of the borders that came with the picture frame, and then I put another piece of glass that came with the second picture frame, and then finally I just top it off with the backing of the picture frame, but I make sure I remove the little stand just because if I leave that there, the tray isn't going to lay flat. And that's it for the tray, which I love so much. Now moving on to the books. Dollar Tree carries so many books, but I recommend looking for books that have a solid background to the hardcover. So you can see this book is all black beside the wording that's on the side. So what you could do is paint over the wording that you see with a black paint or a white paint, whatever color it is that you want the book to be, and then you can cut out the letters from your logo and then glue it on that way. Or you can go ahead and cut just the strip of the logo with the background color already there, and as long as it matches the book, you'll be able to glue that entire piece directly to the book without having to cut out each individual letter. You just got to make sure that the logo that you print out fits the length and width of the book. Another way you can do this is by buying books that are a little bit smaller that could fit a piece of printing paper around it or around most of it. So I got this little book. I go ahead and take a piece of printing paper and I'm able to wrap it around the book. So I just go ahead and put glue stick all over that book, attach the printing paper, and then I take my logo and I just cut it out so it fits perfectly on the side of the book. And because the logo I'm using just has a white background to it, I can cut that strip out without having to cut out all the individual letters, and it blends in really nicely with the printing paper just because they're both printing paper. It just matches. Another thing you can do is buy a book where the paper cover has a solid color underneath the paper. And the paper is already cut perfectly to fit the book, so all you have to do is flip it over and then glue that to your book. If you do this, more than likely that paper is going to be glossy, so it makes more sense to use glossy printing paper. But if you're not going to be using glossy printing paper and just regular printing paper like I did, it's best to cut out the letters from the logo and then glue it rather than keeping that background from the regular printing paper, because it's just not going to blend in nicely with the book. And that's it for the luxury books. Now moving on to the Chanel Perfume decor piece. From Dollar Tree, you want to get one of their wall art boxes. They have this in a rectangle shape and then a square. I'm using the square. Now you're going to be putting glitter on top of this, but you know it's really hard to cover the entire thing perfectly in glitter, so I recommend doing a base color. So if you're using gold glitter like I did, you want to use gold paint. If you're using like blue glitter, use blue paint, just so anywhere there isn't glitter, you don't have to like see the image that was previously on the box. If you're using acrylic paint, just like the picture frames, you're gonna have to put a base down and then you're gonna have to build that color up, just because this type of material doesn't take acrylic paint the best. I recommend spray painting it. It's just so much easier. Once you got your box painted, you can then put the glitter on. I'm using gold glitter that I got at Dollar Tree. Those 2 bottles were enough to cover the front and the 4 sides. When I put the glue down, I use a makeup sponge to smear the glue out so it's just flat. I don't really want pieces of glitter to adhere to the glue funny, so I have like a bunch of glue and glitter lines going through the image. It's better to smear out the glue so you get a nice even finish to it. For the top of the perfume, the image that I saw, they used a foundation in a box. I don't want to do that. I'm just using a silver glitter piece of crafting paper. Dollar Tree does carry them in a 4-pack, but the one I'm using is from Michael's. And all I'm doing is I'm cutting out a strip and rolling it up to create a cylinder looking piece. And that'll be the, I guess, the bottom of the top of the perfume. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense. And then I cut out another strip and bend it around to look similar to the top of the Chanel perfume bottle. I then glue that piece to the top of that cylinder piece. And then cut out a piece that's gonna lay on top of the cap of the perfume bottle. That way you don't see a big old hole there. To glue down the Chanel logo, I knew I couldn't use a glue stick this time. So at first I used regular school glue, but it didn't adhere nicely to the glitter. So I had to mix in a little bit of hot glue. I don't recommend putting a lot of hot glue because honestly it's going to start melting the paper. It's going to bunch it up a bit. Try to use as little hot glue as possible. Then you're done with the perfume bottle. But there's a side note to this. The box itself, sometimes it wants to fall over, so you want to place something in the back of it so it stands properly, and that's only if you don't plan on hanging it. If you plan on hanging it, there's already something in the back of these boxes where you can hang it and you won't have that problem. So that is it for these luxury DIYs, mainly inspired by things I saw on Tumblr. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.